Chattanooga, and so I'm just doing my shakeout run, getting the legs moving from being in the car all day, and then I found a pretty good spot to do some strides about 15 to 20 seconds in length. So just getting the legs moving.
So how you feeling?
I am feeling a little stiff from the drive, but the run is definitely making me feel a lot better, and seeing the race venue, I'm getting excited. So we'll have to wait and see what's in store on race day.
What are you excited for?
Oh gosh, I think I'm just so excited to see how much I can push my body and just see where I end up in my first pro race.
And are you nervous?
Ask me that on Saturday and I'll probably be really nervous. Right now it's mostly excitement, and I'm sure as the weekend, as Sunday gets closer, I'm definitely gonna get more nervous for sure. It's Friday, 2 days before race day. I did my athlete check-in, and then I saved my bike session for this afternoon because we were getting a lot of rain this morning and this afternoon looked a little bit more clear. So I went out for my ride. Turns out we had some rain showers come through the area as I was out riding, so I got a little soaked, but still had the opportunity to get my legs spinning, test out my gears. Didn't do quite as much as I had wanted, only because it was getting so slick on the roads that I decided to cut the session short just out of safety and not wanting to crash this close to race day. So after the ride, I went and did a practice swim just down by the water. I wore my wetsuit just because it's right now for the pros, it's borderline wetsuit, borderline not wetsuit. 72 degrees is what it is for the pros, and I haven't worn my wetsuit in a while, so I wanted to test it out just in case, whereas I've been able to use my swim skin recently. So I really had a good practice swim, feeling comfortable in the water, and just kind of excited to see how that downstream is on race day.
Show us your Race Ranger on your bike.
Yeah, so I just got my bike set up with Race Ranger. There's a unit at the back and a unit at the front. It helps to let us know when we're coming up on the draft zone and then when we've entered the draft zone. So if it blinks orange, we're about 17 meters back. If it blinks blue, then we're 14 meters back. And if it starts blinking red, we're in the draft zone and we have to make a pass. All right, so it is officially the night before the race. And so I'm just gonna kind of go over how I'm feeling in this moment. I would say, you know, being my first race, on one end, there is definitely this sense of imposter syndrome. It's something I've been working through over these past couple months to work through, and just having that belief that I belong. On the other end, I do have the confidence in the training that I did put in. I had a healthy build. I was able to hit, you know, some bike sessions I've never done before. So in that way, I have confidence in what I did. And so going into the race, I just have to remain curious. I can't get caught up in the field and the caliber of athletes that I'm going to be racing, and on the other end, I also just need to stay curious about what it is that I can do and control what I can control within myself. So I'm nervous, excited to see how my first pro race goes tomorrow. All right, it's race morning, so I'm just working through my breakfast, some oatmeal and peanut butter and a banana, some coffee with Life Stacks, and some Precision Hydration 1500. And so my morning, I just try to work through my breakfast the best I can. The nerves are definitely there. And then I like to do a little bit of reading in the Bible just to keep me grounded and that whatever happens out there today, keeping me grounded in who I am. And so yeah, race day ahead. This is my race recap of my first official pro race. So I'm going to start with the swim. Going into the swim, I knew that the top 10 ranked pros all had different colored caps than the rest of us pros. So I had a gray cap. Top 10 each had different colors for theirs. And I decided at the swim start that I was going to take off as hard as I possibly could and try to latch onto the pack that had the different colored caps. And so maybe I got out of my, well, I definitely got out of my comfort zone. But I swam as hard as I could. I latched onto the pack. I was at the very back of the pack, but I was still able to hold on to some feet. And I just kept driving towards those feet with every stroke I could. There were moments that I could tell that they were almost getting away from me, and I'd hammer as hard as I could some more, just trying my best to stay on that pack, because then I didn't want to be in no man's land. And I ended up coming out of the water at the very back of that pack, but being within reach of, I think, out of the water, I was technically 15th out of the water. But my whole pack was from basically 7th through 15th was the pack. So I was really happy with my swim, put myself in a very uncomfortable situation and hung on, and then we have to talk about T1. T1. I came out of the water with a really great pack. Went into T1 and fumbled around, looked up, and that entire pack was already on the bike before I had even pretty much gotten my bike shoes on, gotten my helmet on. I don't really know what I was doing in T1. I couldn't get my helmet to latch, couldn't get my bike shoes on. I don't know if it was the adrenaline, what it was, but I was fumbling and the pack totally left me, and so then I started the bike all by myself. So now onto the bike. I started by myself. There was, within that first 5 miles, 2 other women passed me, and totally just passed me, and I was by myself again. And I probably spent about the first 25 miles just cycling by myself. I couldn't see any cyclists in front of me. No one was coming up to pass me. So I just kept cruising along. And then around 25-ish or so, a pack of other pro women cyclists started passing me. And I just was passed. They passed me enough that I couldn't stay with them, but I could still keep them in view, and so I just worked the rest of the bike to try to at least keep them within my sight, hoping that once I got to T2 and on the run, that maybe I could run some of them down if I just kept them within sight. T2 was a little more smooth than T1, but I still have some work to do with my transitions, just overall. So onto the run. I was definitely feeling toasted. I swam my heart out. I biked to the best of my ability. And then I started the run with questioning if my legs were gonna hold up, but I just calmed my mind and said, just work into it. I could see one girl up ahead, so I was like, maybe I can at least catch her. I eventually was able to catch her, and then I saw another girl up ahead, so then I tried to catch her, and I just kind of played this game throughout the run of seeing if I could catch the girl that would eventually come into my sight. And by mile 9, I was starting to feel the hills more than I expected. I went in knowing it was a hard run course, but I guess I didn't realize how hard until I was actually running on it. And just some surprising hills. Like, it wasn't like they were terrible, but they came at certain times of the run. And so my legs definitely got to a point where it was like, are they going to hold up? Are they going to hold up? And so I just tried to keep one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, just get to the finish, just get to the finish. And I was fighting to get to that finish and just holding on for dear life that my run legs would stay on. And when I realized that I had worked myself from 23rd off the bike to finishing 14th in the pro field, I was really happy with that. Wasn't necessarily expecting that on my debut race, and just with the caliber of athletes that were out racing. So I can say that I'm really happy with just putting myself in it today, and taking a lot of learning experiences going forward. I definitely went into this race struggling to believe that I belonged. I kept telling myself that I belonged, telling people I believed I belonged, but I didn't really feel like I belonged. But I was willing to take a risk, willing to step into my, willing to step out of my comfort zone, and just seeing what I had on the day. And I can honestly say that I gave it all I had today, and to have executed the race that I did, I'm very proud of myself for taking the step to go after this dream of mine. And I just feel so grateful that I get the opportunity to do this. I would like to shout out first my husband. He is the one that got me into triathlon. We get a little teared up. He believed in me from the moment he met me, pretty much. I did have my college coach who had mentioned triathlon to me, so I do have to give him a shout out as well. He had mentioned when I finished up college running, you know, hey, with your swim background, you might be really good at triathlon. And I put it in the back of my mind, but I had just started physical therapy school, so I had put that aside for a couple of years. And then when I met my husband Kurt, he was very big into Ironman, and slowly as I got to know him, he got me cycling a little bit more. He got me reintroduced to swimming because I had been out of it for a while. And so big shout out to him. And then giving a shout out to Team Octagon Elite and Trista for recruiting me back in 2021 and believing in me at that time and giving me an opportunity to continue my growth in the sport. All of my teammates on Octagon, y'all are so encouraging and have allowed me to grow at my own rate, especially with the bike and everything that happened at St. George. It really has meant a lot. And then of course, a shout out to all of our sponsors for giving this opportunity and believing in us as a team, believing in me as an athlete. It really takes a team to do this sport.